Hello students, I hope you have seen the previous video which was shared with you on Monday. My dear students, in that video we have discussed types of network. We have discussed four types of networks. That is, first one is PAN, personal area network, LAN, local area network, MAN, metropolitan area network, and WAN, that is wide area network. We have also discussed the advantages of networks. To see the advantages and the next topics of this chapter, we will go to our PDF. Advantages of computer networks. Sharing of hardware. Sharing of hardware devices like printers, scanners, or storage devices such as hard drives help in reducing the cost of the computer system. That means we need to have only one printer, one scanner, and some hard drives which can be used by all other computers connected with the network system, whatever the network system we are using. So sharing of software. Purchasing of software for individual computers is more expensive than buying software that will be installed on one central computer called as server and allowing many users to access it. So if we have one computer, one server, so we have to purchase software for one computer. Otherwise, for individual computers, we have to purchase individual software. So here we decrease the cost of the software by sharing one software in a networking system. The next is sharing files. So by using a network, user can easily share documents with each other. So that promotes teamwork and increases productivity. So no need to have for individual programmer an individual document that can be shared with all other who are connected with network. Backup. Data can be stored on a central computer or server with the backup system, ensuring that no data loss can occur. So data can be stored at one place in backup. Cost effective. Since hardware, software and storage systems can be shared, so that results are cost saving. Minor effect of breakdowns. So in a network, if single computer of the network will not affect the operation of the entire network. That means if a single computer is not working, that will not affect other computers or other users, those who are working on it. So that is the advantages of networking. Saves paper and time. Network also reduce the need for generating multiple hard copies of the same documents. People working in common workplace can share reports through the network, which saves both time and paper. So here the paper and the time is saved by using single document, again with the multiple users in a network. So my dear students, the advantages which we have discussed are sharing of hardware, sharing of software, sharing files, backup, cost effective, minor effect on breakdowns, and saves paper and time. Now we will discuss the disadvantages of the disadvantages of computer networks. So First one is initial costs. Although the running cost of the network is lower than that of individual computers, but the initial cost of setting up the network is higher. So there is a, when we connect the computers in the network, to make the setup we need to spend more money, because we need to purchase routers, switches, hubs, network interface cards, server, etc. So that increases the cost of initially setting up the network. So that is the disadvantages of the computer network. Second is administration. So if the network grows too large, various issues may crop up in the day-to-day operation of the computer network. So you know, children, the as the this network grows larger, so you need to keep watch. You have to administer that network. For that, you need to keep high skilled technical people. They will be their salary will be too much. Then the operational officers, administration, the managers. So these all will increase the money to administer the large network. So that is also one disadvantage. Next is major effect of breakdowns. So if the computer network's main server breaks down, the entire system would become useless. Likewise, in case of problems with the shared resources like hardware, software or storage systems, all the computers on the network would also come to a standstill. So the disadvantage of this major effect of the breakdown is, like if the server fails, if the server is failed, then all the users, all the computer systems connected to the network will be down. They won't be able to work. So that is also the disadvantage. The next is viruses. Unless special care is taken by using antivirus programs, a virus infection in one computer may spread to all the computers on the network. So if the virus comes to one computer, that will spread to all other connected computers. Security. This is a danger of hacking, especially in large network. So when the network is large, then there is no security in that. But to keep the security, you will have to be you will have to use software like firewalls, which will be installed to prevent the breach of security. So these were the some disadvantages of the computer networks. Next we'll see network architecture. So network architecture is overall design of a computer hardware and their functional organization and configuration. So computer networks are designed in two different ways. So here architecture means the physical connection, how you physically connect the computers to the network. So that are peer-to-peer and client server. So what happens in peer-to-peer network? In peer-to-peer, if you see in this figure, all the computers are equal in configuration and equally they share the data. But majorly in client server, what happens? This computers are connected to one server. Here this is the server, and with server other computers are, other devices are connected. So that is client server. Here what will happen? Whatever the client will ask, the client will ask the information from the server, and server, whatever the information are asked by this user's clients, that will be given by the server. But here what will happen? Here all the computers are equally connected, equally in the configuration, and they can pass their information data to each other. So if you see here, this central computer is known as the server, and the other computers are also known as clients or nodes or workstations. So these are called the computers connected to the servers are also called nodes or workstations. The server is responsible for providing all the information and resources to the clients as per their request, as I have told you. So the server provides all the information and resources to the client as per its request. Client server networks typically consist of two parts. The front end of the application is what the user sees and interacts directly, and the backend part interacts with the shared resources such as database, printers, or high power processors. So I have already shared this PDF with you, so you can go through the differences between peer-to-peer and client server networks. These are the points you can go through. Then we have next topic, switching techniques. So there are mainly three types of switching techniques, that is circuit switching, second one is message switching, and the third one is packet switching. So this is a large network. There can be multiple paths linking the sender and receiver. Information may be switched as it travels through various channels in a digital traffic. So here the switching technique means transferring the data either through circuit switching or message switching or packet switching. So circuit switching, what happens, that this is a technique that connects the sender and receiver in an unbroken path. A dedicated path exists between the two ends unless the connection is terminated. The landline telephone is the example of circuit switching. So circuit switching, the example is telephone line, one end to another. So that is the dedicated line is given, and that is the more strong. It is not terminated unless it is terminated by the user itself. So the advantage of this is the communication channel one established is dedicated. So the line in the telephone line, there is no signal breaking. That is costly to install, but that is more reliable and consistent. So disadvantage of this is possible long wait to establish the connection, during which no data can be transmitted. So to set up this, like if you want this landline, you may need to wait more because the initial setup takes more time to give this circuit switching system. So most expensive among all other switching technique as dedicated line is required. Due to this line, this is more expensive. So here you can see that user A, user B, user C, user D. So this is shown that you have. So this is shown that here user A is on the line with user C from this side, and if user B is trying to connect, so that is busy at the moment. That is on the dedicated line. If one end is connected with second user, if they terminate, then only it will be terminated, right? So the next one is message switching. In message switching, the message is sent from one sender to receiver through a series of nodes. Each node receives the message, stores it on the disk, and then transmits the message to the next node. This type of message is called storage and forward network. So if the message has to come from one end to the another end, it will, what will the system will do, it will store first on its memory and then it will transfer to next node. So the channel efficiency is very high because more devices are sharing the channel. So channel efficiency means because there are more devices sharing this and all are sending the data, sharing the data. So but to process this, first they will store the data on the disk completely and then they will send to the next system. So traffic congestion is reduced because message can be temporarily stored in the node. So that is, it takes time because from, if it has to come from here to here, then it will go from here to there, and then from here to here, or from here to here, and then so it takes time. It completely, it stores the data first inside and then it forward. So that is the type storage and forward network. The next, the disadvantage of this is store and forward devices are expensive. Large storage is required to store the long messages. So the data is more, then these devices are costly with high configurations. Next is packet switching. So as shown in the figure 1.2.9, in packet switching the message is broken into a series of packets. So here what was happening, the completely the data was sent from one place to another, and till it gets transferred all the data and it gets stored in one place in the disk, and then it forwards to the next. But here the complete data is not going. Here what happens, it is broken into the packets, small packets. So in packet switching the message is broken into a series of packets. Each of these packets has a header which contains information about the destination as well as reassembly instructions. Packet switching is found to be the most efficient for large networks. The TCP/IP protocol uses packet switching techniques to transfer message through internet. So what happens here, that the message is broken into the pieces, small packets, and then that can follow any route. Suppose if I take from user here, user 1, user 2, so what will happen, it can take any route. See, the message can go from, so here if you see in the circuit switching, when it was connected to this was not allowed, but in packet switching this is also sending packet and this is also sending packets. So in the this is the receiving point and this is the starting point, sender and the receiver. So what will happen, the packets may reach, first this packet may reach, or the second this may reach, third this may reach. So that is, I mean, any packet can reach any time, but that can be reassembled at the end point here. So here might be this both, so like this is on the way, they can take any route. This is one line. If there are more lines, like they can take this is packet switching is further divided into parts that we will see in the next. So in packet switching we can say that the data is broken into the small packets. So packet switching is cost effective because devices do not require a large amount of switching circuits. So here one is only enough, otherwise you need to have more circuits. But here in packet switching we do not need more switching circuits. So it offers improved delay characteristics as there are no long message in the queue. So in the message you saw that message switching here, that one has to wait till the data is transferred, but here there is no queue. As they get the place they transfer. So packets can be rerouted if the links are busy or disabled. So as I told you here, that they can take any way to get transfer. Many users can share the same channel at the same time. So many user here, we can put here many users. So as they get their chance, they will transfer their data. So this is the advantage of packet switching. Disadvantage is the protocol for packet switching are complex and hence have additional cost in implementation. So the implementation cost is higher in this packet switching. If the packet is lost, the sender has to retransmit the data, and if the packet is lost, not reached to the receiver, then the sender has to send it again. So that is the disadvantage of this packet switch. Today we have finished advantages and disadvantages of the computer networks. Then we have completed today network architecture, and in network architecture we have completed peer-to-peer networks and client server networks. Then we have seen today the switching techniques. There are three types of switching techniques. The first one is circuit switching, second one is message, and the third one is packet switching. My dear students, in the same chapter we have some topics left, that is network components. In that we will discuss what is switch, what is hub, what is routers and all. And then we have internet, what is internet and the types of internet connections. That's all for today. Thank you. Have a good day.